Every man begins with a lie. Not one he invents, one he is taught. Be good, be understanding, be emotionally available. And the most dangerous lie of all, if you do enough, you'll never be left. So he slowly hands his identity to that story, his time, his energy, his direction. At first, it works. Attention comes easily, closeness feels natural. It seems like he's finally being seen. Then one day, without warning, he feels it. He's trying harder, and she's feeling less. That day, the relationship doesn't break, the man does. Because for the first time, he realizes, I'm still me, but the attraction is gone. That's the first trap. The most confusing moment in a man's life is when effort stops being rewarded. You give more, the response gets colder. You try to understand her more, she pulls further away. So you turn inward. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I should soften more. Maybe I need to change who I am. This is where self-betrayal begins. You break your boundaries for the sake of peace. You swallow your opinions for the sake of connection. You stop being the man she was drawn to, trying to become the man she won't leave. And the cruel irony is this: you start losing her because of the very things you're doing to keep her. Effort stops working the moment it comes from need, and by the time a man understands that, it's usually too late. Attraction doesn't respond to effort, it responds to energy. This is where most men get it wrong. They think love is built by proving value. But attraction isn't impressed by proof, it reacts to presence. Biology doesn't care about good intentions. It only recognizes signals. Signals of certainty, direction, emotional self-containment. For thousands of years, survival favored men who could stand steady under pressure, not men who adjusted themselves to avoid disapproval. Comfort feels safe, but desire needs tension. And when a man collapses all tension by making her the emotional center of his world, polarity dies. Not because she's cruel, but because biology is honest. The trap doesn't begin in behavior. It begins in the nervous system. When you overinvest emotionally, your brain rewires itself. Dopamine, the chemical of pursuit, drops. Oxytocin, the chemical of bonding, takes over. You stop moving with direction and start moving with anticipation. You watch her tone, her timing, her moods. Your mind becomes a radar, not focused on your purpose, but on her approval. And slowly, without noticing, you shift roles. From grounded man to emotional regulator. You manage feelings, you smooth friction, you avoid tension. And attraction can't survive that role. Because desire doesn't grow where safety becomes surveillance. The trap isn't dramatic, it's neurological. The warning signs were never hidden, they were just inconvenient. She stopped being curious about your world, stopped asking how your day really went. Laughter faded first, then touch, then effort. Conversations turned practical, scheduling, planning, managing. You were always the one reaching out. She was always the one responding. Not cold, just distant. And the most dangerous sign of all, you felt anxious instead of grounded. You replayed messages before sending them. You noticed delays. You read tone into silence. Deep down, you knew something was wrong. But you told yourself, relationships take work. This is just a phase. I just need to try harder. So you ignored the signals, because accepting them would mean facing the truth, that the trap was already closing. The collapse never announces itself. There's no explosion, no villain, no dramatic ending, just distance. She says she's confused. She says she needs space. She says nothing at all. Attraction died quietly, weeks ago, months ago. You're only now catching up. And when it ends, it feels sudden. But it wasn't. What breaks isn't just the relationship, it's your self-trust. You question your instincts, your masculinity, your worth. You wonder how giving so much ended with losing everything. This is the moment most men harden or collapse, because no one warned them. When a man loses his center, everything built on it falls too. Here's the truth most men resist. Love doesn't fade because you weren't kind enough. It fades when kindness replaces strength. Attraction isn't sustained by sacrifice. It's sustained by self-respect. You weren't too much. You were too available. You didn't fail because you cared. You failed because you abandoned your center to be chosen. Desire cannot be negotiated. You can't explain your way back into it. You can't earn it with patience. And the hardest realization of all, the moment you made her the source of your worth, you stopped being worthy of desire. This isn't cruel, it's reality. Awakening doesn't come as confidence. It comes as clarity. You stop asking, "How do I get her back?" and start asking, "How did I leave myself?" You see the pattern, not just in her, but in you. The overgiving, the over-explaining, the fear of losing. And for the first time, you don't numb it. You don't blame. You observe. You realize strength was never aggression. It was grounding. Not control, but containment. This is the turning point. The moment a man stops chasing connection and starts rebuilding alignment. It's not just personal failure. Modern culture stacks the deck. Men are told to be vulnerable without being taught how to be strong, to express emotion without boundaries. Media glorifies sacrifice, but shames restraint. Masculine strength is called toxic. Stoicism is called emotional suppression. Men are trained to earn love through constant giving, not to embody the force that attracts it. The system rewards emotional labor, but never teaches emotional leadership. This is the invisible cage, the reason many men fall again and again. Real power begins inside. It starts with reclaiming your frame, your center. You don't fix her. You don't negotiate your way back. You lead your life. Purpose before partnership. Calm before chaos. You build your emotional container, not to suppress feelings, but to hold them. You stop reacting to approval. You start acting from certainty. This is masculine awakening, the point where traps lose their grip. When a man reclaims himself, he is reborn, not as someone new, but as the man he always was. He sheds the weight of needing to be chosen. He lets go of desperate attempts to please. Instead, he stands firm in his purpose, knowing that true attraction flows from self-possession. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being grounded and present. A man reborn is a man who commands without demanding. Presence is the foundation. It's showing up fully without chasing or clinging. It's speaking with clarity, acting with intention, and resting in silence without fear. Presence is a practice, a muscle built over time. It requires discipline to hold space for yourself, to set boundaries firmly but kindly, and to prioritize your own path. Because a man who is present is irresistible. Change is uncomfortable. Awakening is not a one-time event. It's a constant process of breaking old habits. You will lose people. You will face rejection. You will confront loneliness. Because the man you used to be, the one who sought approval, is dying. And that death feels like loss. But it is necessary. Because without breaking, there is no rebuilding. True freedom is self-mastery. It's the ability to live by your own rules, to feel whole without external validation. A mastered man moves through the world with calm authority. He accepts loss without panic. He embraces solitude without fear. And from this place, he creates relationships, not from need, but from genuine connection. This is the escape from all traps. The last truth is simple and often ignored. No one can trap a man who never forgets who he is. The moment you stop defining yourself through her approval, the chains fall away. You become whole first, and then you become chosen. Not because you begged, not because you proved yourself, because you embody strength, calm, and purpose. The traps you fell into, they were lessons disguised as pain. Now they are your foundation. A foundation for a life lived on your terms. The real freedom? It's not in avoiding pain. It's in becoming unshakable, in knowing that no matter what happens, you remain rooted. And that is the beginning of true power.